Greetings, friends, and welcome to the woods. Just as a favor, if you have any interest in my doing dream interpretation on some of our pop culture stories as they come out, would you please put dream in the comment so I know that there's an interest? I started to do that 2 years ago. I was going to center this exchange around that, but I was getting so much negative and dark feedback from what I was seeing when I was looking into the psyche of our society through our storytelling that it just became very, very disturbing. And so I backed off on it just because what was lining up for me was it was just very hard to look at directly. I was looking at the dark. A lot of what was coming out that year was horror. Horror comedies seemed to disappear. Horror movies made a resurgence. It's no wonder given the changes that we're undergoing right now. I'm not surprised, but it just became a little bit much. But I'd be happy to delve back into that. If you're interested, please post the comment of dream. Just put the one word dream in the comment section so I know, and I'll start looking at that and doing that again. And I'll start it next month for the holiday season because there's some movies coming out, and I work primarily through the medium again of storytelling. So that would be movies or television. I like to look at both what is naturally occurring within our consciousness in regards to what's coming in, what's affecting our artistic expression, because that tends to come down from the higher levels to the lower. But I also like to see what's being programmed in. So a lot of storytelling, it will come to us from the higher levels of reality. Just everything that's created starts as an energy and it filters down. But a lot of times, at least in popular culture, you will see the dominant forces who are attempting to control humans piggyback their messages and their ideas onto it. And sometimes those ideas, those messages, usually it used to be just one or two. See little bits and pieces where the story doesn't fit together, where it kind of doesn't hold really well. And it's because somebody threw a message and there's somebody threw an idea because they wanted to push our consciousness in one direction or another. The classics tend not to have as much of those, or if they have them, they're more about giving us a clue or a warning about what's lurking around out there, so then when it comes into our consciousness, we're more prepared for it. That's a good thing. But when you have these attempts to control us, to control our thoughts and our behavior, people often don't like that, especially if it doesn't blend well with the story. And in recent times, there have been so many messages, so numerous, and so contrary to our nature and to where we're going, where we want to go, that it's crashed out a lot of popular entertainment. We're seeing it in music, we're seeing it in the cinema, we're seeing it in the series. People just, they're done with it. They're tired of it. They don't know why, consciously, many of them, few do, but many of them, they just kind of throw up their hands and how come we can't have nice things anymore? Why are we getting the message or this message, or why is it all political? Why do they keep throwing this at us? And they get disgusted and they walk away. It's because the direction that mankind is going right now is taking us away from being controlled. And those who want to perpetuate the system as it has been are getting increasingly desperate. So instead of inserting a little bit here and a little bit there, they're just throwing the whole cake right into the works and hoping that it doesn't stick the gears. It's been sticking the gears. So it has really wrecked things like comedy, because comedy, if it's really good, has enough social commentary to grease the wheels, to catch our attention, to make it relatable to us. Um, Comedy, the jester says things that we can't say. It's antagonistic. You have to have a little bit of antagonism in there for the joke to present. It's a tapping on the shoulder. It's catching your attention by doing something that's out of sync, out of step, questionable, aggressive, something that we can relate to as being a problem or not quite right, odd, funny, strange. Oh, he can't do that, or why is she doing that? There has to be something discordant about it for the levity to take, for the comedy aspect of it to launch. And because of all of the fear that has been injected into our social expression, it's been very difficult for those who create comedy to to allow that to come forward. And I'm having trouble discussing this, so I must be stepping on some toes right now. Horror, on the other hand, that's universally easy right now because you're deliberately creating something that's upsetting, that's doesn't have to make sense, that's in step with what our controllers are trying to create, which is a lot of fear and tension and anxiety. So, not so many comedies, lots of horror, and the inspirational stuff is hit or miss. It used to be that there was a lot of presentation within stories designed to inspire heroic impulses, not just with the males, although primarily often with the males, because they're the ones that are intended to police our social norms and to push forward the progress of our society. So they needed to be the adventurers, they needed to be the initiators. Women tended to provide a supporter role. But because our soul is immortal, and our soul is immortal, we get to hold those roles throughout our timelines, throughout our lifeline. We'll be a male, then we'll be a female, and then we'll be a female, and then be a male. You're not locked into one rigid role forever. Just you pick it for the lifetime. And the nice thing about the golden age is a lot of the gender norms, well, this was happening. The gender norms were being loosened up so that you could take different sides. You weren't locked into having to express only one way because of your gender. At least that was the case until interference started to change that back again, where you had to be female presenting in order to be nurturing and pretty and kind, and you had to be male presenting in order to be strong and authoritative. That's not what it's about, guys. Our biology does lend itself to expressing in certain ways, but men nurture too, and women initiate too. And just because your body reflects one way doesn't mean that your energy can't come through and express an archetype of a different form. We're not limited, and we don't have to change our body around to express what our heart wants to express. Just a few thoughts for you. We'll talk more on this and other things. Let me know if you're interested in storytelling. Put dream in the comments so I know. And welcome to the woods.